everyone, I'm Jennifer, the host of Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai, where we're going to talk about the Japanese concept of Ikigai, or living a life of purpose. Here you're going to hear inspirational stories from all different types of people who are finding their own life of purpose. You're going to hear about how they found their Ikigai and what they do every day to live an integrated life. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai. I'm your host, Jennifer Shinkai, and very happy to be here today with one of the most colorful, effervescent, energetic powerhouses of foreign women that I know in Japan, actually. And I have huge fangirl moments every time I see Tiziana, because when Tiziana Alamprese walks into the room, you know she's there. She has this amazing joy of life, such energy, such passion. I'm sure you have some down points too, but your public persona is so inspiring for so many people. And when I realized that you had moved on from your corporate role and set up your own business, my mind went, yes, this is a very interesting story. And also because she was this amazing marketing professional, I know that in her former role at Fiat, you had this, whole team of PR people who would be saying, don't say this, don't talk about this. So this is always my exciting time to speak with a guest, especially around the theme of Ikigai, when someone is taking a new step. I was talking to a potential guest the other day, and they said, "Oh no, I haven't got it worked out yet. I'm still in the process." I'm like, that's the most interesting time to share your story, when it's still fresh, when you still remember different things, different decisions, and so on. But I just think that anyone who listens to you talk for 5 minutes or the whole podcast is going to bring a lot of energy and joy to their life. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm really excited to be here because I'm a follower of the Ikigai concepts in many years, actually. But I never found in Japan, or even among the community of our international community, no one that really started talking about that. So I found really fantastic that you pick up this very specific concept that in Japanese is Ikigai, and we can translate in many ways we want, actually, because it's a very big topic, very flexible, but also is our inner, let's say, maybe child that guide us to do the things that we do every day. So I really love to explore this a bit more with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for a very embarrassing sort of presentation. I'm just a gray pride woman that now in my age, I reached 60, and I'm so grateful for that. So whatever I can share with everyone is a pleasure, is a gift.
Wonderful. I kind of want to jump in on that point, actually. Yeah, you post these brilliant photos of, hashtag Grey Pride. So tell us a little bit about that and what you're trying to do with your social media presence on that one, and how that connects to your Ikigai too.
Look, I think that our social media are, you can interpret them in many ways. Of course, most of us tend to show the best part of ourselves on our social media. But I do sometimes appreciate also when people comes out with their own, deeper feelings or emotions. So for me, it's a bit of always being honest. So I never compromise, just not to say things, not to take sides, just watch and see. I don't like this type of usage of the social media. So I like to be protagonist of my SNS platforms, and so, but in a way that is also ironic, not too invasive, possibly not boring, because the last thing you want is to be bored by your own contents. So I every time I needed some good reason to post something. So actually I started my really kind of project on social project many years ago with a project that was called a smile in the elevator. I don't know if you ever saw that, but I collected like 2 or 3 years of every day I was going to the office and taking the elevator. I started to take picture in the in that mirror for in that few seconds, but then I wanted to really involve the people that were with me in the elevator, asking them to collaborate to this project. So in those few seconds I just were asking them, completely unknown people, or sometimes my colleagues, sometimes repeaters, sometimes people that were just waiting for me to go and don't take the elevator, and to have a smile with me. So I like the concept of sharing something, So you mentioned the Grey Pride. So after this project, I stopped because my mom passed away, and for many days I couldn't just take these naps in the elevator anymore. I was like, I couldn't. So anyway, time passed, and then I decided to go gray. Finally, I decided not to color my hair anymore, any longer. I didn't know at what stage I was. So I embarked in that journey that for many women is very, can be very, very difficult, because everybody around you keeps telling, no, why? You look much younger. You keep coloring. Even my own daughter did this to me. Can you imagine? She's so modern, emancipated, younger, little, but she said, Mom, are you sure? Like this. And then this triggered me to do it and to share it. So I started taking picture with whoever gray hair person I would meet, even in the street, in the subway, completely unknown people that were striking me with their nice hair, gray hair. And I call it hashtag Grey Pride. And then I discovered that there is a kind of movement on Facebook, other groups that are doing this. So I also connected with them. But the bit sad point is that in Japan, I cannot find many Japanese women that really embrace their gray or white hair. So most of my pictures are taken with men, which is a bit sad. So sometimes it was very funny, because when I was spotting a woman, I was chasing her in the street. Sorry, I love your hair. Can we take a picture together? And at the beginning, everybody were a bit scared, but then they really loved the project. So I got many enthusiast people doing this with me.
I think that's so wonderful. And I'm feeling this like theme of collaboration for you, like being with other people and creating something in the moment is a big source of like that feeling of Ikigai. And also how lovely it must be to be like, hey, can you smile, as long as you're not creepy, right? Can you smile in this elevator with me? Or like, I love your gray hair. Can I take a picture with me? Like that has the difference to like make someone feel so good.
I love sharing. You pick up, I love that theme of sharing. So in fact, now on my Instagram, I'm also sharing casual color, random color matching, me and other people that we wear purple or something, and I take picture of them as well.
Right.
And I did with total strangers as well. I also color match myself with cars or objects, dishes, because I think that also it's a concept of picking up some beauty in our humanity, daily humanity. And so that's my third project now, is my daily happiness. Actually, my little happiness is another project. I like to share really little things that makes you happy, that instant of very little happiness that makes you really go ahead. I think that in few words, this is my real Ikigai, is this sense of sharing something that is relevant in that moment for me.
I love it. I'm totally getting goosebumps as you share. I love that. In the English speaking world, we kind of got a bit hooked on the Venn diagram, and it has to be about work and it has to be about the sense of purpose. But I think there's this other element which comes through very strongly in Japan and in the projects that you're working on, of this in the moment Ikigai, like small daily happiness.
And this is, but the important thing is not just to feel it for yourself, which is an inner strength, because I have my daily happiness in thanking, first of all, this is my first feeling. Just be grateful for everything. If I start to be grateful for the many things I have, all the problems, really, all the things I don't have, they just disappear immediately, instantly. And this is a great, really, therapy to feel your life as a precious gift. And I do this. I've been done this since many, many, many years, since I was quite young, and probably, since I had a very, very big accident that really put me on the edge of, living or dying. And that also, those experiences are really, really important for you to become more and more thankful.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful to have those challenging experiences where, the ikiteru, the ability to live is in the balance for a moment. There's a very interesting previous podcast guest, Matthew Dons, and he talks about his cancer diagnosis, which was 5 years ago, and now his cancer is undetectable, but how that put his Ikigai into a different perspective. But I think we don't all have to go through, difficult diagnosis or big accidents to just start to, what I love about your gratitude practice is also focus on the abundance, not the lack. Focus on the things that you have and really put all the intention into those things too.
I think it's a very also Asian and even Buddhist way of really appreciating life. And if you want, really is the deepest spiritual meaning of many movements like yoga, every even religion, which I'm not a religious person, but the religion in their very, very beginning, they have been born like a sensation of being thankful for what we got, and to thank someone that actually is inside ourselves, and that's the God that we imagine. So I think it's very basic, very human and basic, but we humans sometimes tend to forget the very simple thing, and we start following our mind, and our ego, which creates separation from this. And I think that we should be more true to our whole self, which is a self of really, as you said, abundance and a very, very rich source of energy that we have, resilience and energy.
I love it. And then I love that you also said it's not just about having it for yourself. So you have those daily moments where you do your color matching or your little daily moment of happiness. Do you call it? Sorry, let me get the hashtag right.
Yes, my daily happiness, or my little happiness.
So everyone gets, but you also, so you share them as well, right? On social media. So people can, and they can look around for themselves.
This is my exhibitionist side. I have an exhibitionist side, and for example, this is one of the thing that I sometimes I need to control, because I'm a very open person and I like to be seen. That's a problem. I like also to be on stage. I like this, and sometimes I feel embarrassed because I think maybe I shouldn't be like this. But then inside myself, I have so much fun in being like this, and because I take it in also an ironic way. I don't believe that I'm a goddess, but I believe that I can be, I can be a funny person. So what I do sometimes, I have this I say liking for cosplay. So I really like to change my my aspect. I really like to transform myself. I like masks. I like wigs. I have a collection of wigs, strange dresses, and I also for example, one of my, that's one of my happy activities, to transform my friends with all these these little tools. I make them transform. I create little stories for many characters after a dinner of 4 or 5 people, friends, after we ate, and then we said, let's do a story, let's create these. And one day we had one of this friend of mine that basically gave birth to a baby, an old doll of mine. So he was the pregnant woman. We were all the. I mean, I like to do these things as well, and I tell you, this is also a way of channeling my energy, because I have a lot of creative energy probably, and a lot of desire of really have fun with people, share happy moments as much as we can, even silly things, silly moments. And so I really start appreciating also this side of myself, that for a while I wanted just to control, because it was too exaggerated. I had alter egos. I like to create other personas. For example, now I'm in love with a side of myself that is a dancer, a Bollywood dancer, and I invite her to my parties or other friends' parties, and just dress up and I dance Bollywood music. I don't know, I love it, and so that's also one side of my being, very colorful, as you say. These colors comes from many creative minds that are inside myself.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Just bringing out all of those hidden selves, those secret selves, and giving them space to play in the world is like another. What you said, like, oh, I'm too much, I'm too exaggerated, whatever. And it's like, well, actually, how can I fall in love with myself in that? And how can I bring that out? And it's a way of expressing like your life force, right? So, and I'm sure your friends are in the most joyful moment as with you as the conductor of this time, like giving them also the space to play, like to be the person who creates.
On my social media, Jennifer, you don't see it, you see only the top of the iceberg.
I'm sure. Yeah, there's many things.
But I'm an open person, so I'm much more. I'm sharing much more than an average for probably person, because my conception of privacy is that as much as we live in this AI dominated world, and we are all addicted on it. So I said, okay, so at least I play a bit with this, and I share as much as I can, because I want to be free. I don't want to control. This is okay, this is not okay. As in my previous working life as a very loyal, super employee of this wonderful company that is now is called Stellantis, but it was Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, and then I also try to keep myself free, even in that environment, which is not the freest of the environment for a woman, especially in automobile. But I made a point to keep my my self-expression as free as I need it, and that kept me working for this company for more than 30 years. Otherwise, I would have quit. With a mind like mine, like I try to describe, how could I survive in that world? Instead, I took this mind, my creativity, and I tried to infect all the others with this. I try to make them also addicted, to be a bit different, a bit more, crazy, if you want, or doing things that are not in the norm. And I think that especially even in my previous, when I was in Italy, but also during my life here in Japan, my working life, the pride, the highest moment of pride is when very normal people, very tight businessmen, just open up with me and start laughing and start doing crazy things. And or appreciating what I was trying to communicate with my free marketing spirits, and they started to feel that and to love it. So this is the love. Yeah, you wanted to talk about love.
Yes, but I want to just come back to that. We'll come back to love and marketing in a moment, but I want to land like that lesson or takeaway for other people, because there's a sort of myth around like Ikigai, and can I have my Ikigai in a Fortune 500 company? Don't I need to go and like work for an NGO or like start my own business or, you know, become an artisan? It's like, I love what you did in order to keep that self-expression, to keep your self-actualization, which is a very important part of the feeling of Ikigai, and bringing that into every day at work, you know, to infecting other people. I just think it's a really important takeaway. So if someone is feeling that I can't be free at work, right? I can't express this feeling of my Ikigai and who I am, what kind of advice, or what's a first step maybe they can take to do that?
I would totally suggest to find your peers, because in a company, the biggest, of course, is maybe difficult to create connection. But if you start to create connection with people that are similar to you, and they have the same feeling, and believe me, there are many more that we can believe, many more, because if you go inside each of my colleague life, I could spot the musician, I could spot the artist, and they all try to not to show this side, especially we are talking here in Japan now, because that's more difficult. In the working environment of Fiat in Italy, it was much easier to immediately connect with your co-workers and create. I was able to do a session of painting with the marijuana leaves and all the cash, all the and do this with all my colleagues, because it's more transparent, how you can connect with it. In Japan, it's more difficult because the place of work is not built to create a friends-like relationship. But the Japanese have another way of releasing, the typical, going to drink together or having this moment together. This is also a beautiful way to explore the others and then to create more connection. So I think that with a wise usage, not to drink too much, because that's not advisable, but to get in to touch more the other people's lives, then you sharing is a wonderful perspective, really, because when you start sharing, you receive back, right? And this gives you the strength to be even more yourself. So share about your hobbies, about your dreams, about what you want to do, and you can see that you can create another way of working as well, with others. It's a bit difficult, I agree, and of course everybody would think, okay, but you're Italian, you're so open. But it's not true. I mean, all many Italians are not like me, and many people are suffering, are struggling. They don't communicate openly. They have difficulties in because that's human. I mean, it's just I was blessed with this character, and also I built it up, because I don't remember I was born so super open and super akarui type of girl. I was quite close. I love to stay by myself and play by myself and inventing stories. But since I was really young, I entertained myself really, really well. So I really didn't need to, the first day my mom took me to Yorchien, to a little, how do you say in English?
Like kindergarten? Kindergarten. Yeah.
I stayed there. I didn't make any mess. But I told her I will never go there again. don't take me there. I refused. I didn't want to stay with the many people. I was this type of little girl. And I was happy to be at home, to watch my mom cooking and watch my mom taking care of my other siblings, and I was helping her. I was this type. I like to make things happen, and not just listen, what the teacher would say to you. I couldn't really. I was not even when I start my elementary school. I remember that I took over my teacher, and when she was assigned some composition, some exercise, I was changing completely. I say, look, instead of that, I did this. What do you think? I was trying to convince, and she loved it. So I had also this good, feedback, thanks God, from my adults, my mother, my father, that allowed me to be a bit more free, even in my, own way. So my teacher in this small little town in the south of Italy, it's incredible that I was blessed with this type of creative freedom. Then our age was a bit different. My age, when I was even in a middle school and junior high, the feminism was exploding. We were in the late 70s. People were, fighting for their rights. There were lots of movements, social movements, and I embraced them immediately. So I was always, and then I could bring a quite solid myself that was, trained to, living in a family of 4 siblings, so fighting my sister, my other. I mean, I learned all of this, but always managing in a way that was good for how I wanted to be, So I had this kind of self-conscious since I was really young. And when I embraced feminism, that was it, I really felt that we needed to come together, and I started to have this more and more sharing, feeling to change the society as well.
Yeah.
So,
how does your feminism connect to your ikigai and your reason to be alive?
I think that as a woman, I think that my ikigai could not be separated by the fact that I need to care for my own, self-respect, freedom, rights, and the other women, self-respect, freedom, rights. I mean, this is just a very basic thing. I could not feel happy just to be myself, just the freedom, having the freedom that I want, doing what being a privileged white woman and enjoying my life. I couldn't see just this happen. So even if I cannot be probably, and I'm not a super activist, but I try to influence with what I think younger women, other people, men, first of all, doing men, lots of education of men, on my male friends, on in my work, in my colleague, trying really to be an agent of change. So I think that my feminism is a strongly connected to my energy.
Yeah, I agree, and I see it in the things that you do and how you support different communities as well. So you're very active in the LGBT community here in Japan, as well as with TEL. So, there's still this, I'm seeing this thread of sharing and connecting with people, but maybe, I know some people don't like to talk about their volunteer and charity work, but it seems very important to you. And this idea of, I think let me find the wording in your introduction. Hang on, I'm scrolling. You said, I like to introduce myself as a free spirit against all discrimination, abuses, and wars done in the name of religion, race, sex, money, and political faith. So, yeah,
that is a bit strong, and I
love it.
I left this on my LinkedIn through all my career, I can see that other people, nobody dares in the corporate world, especially if you want to to go through the ladder and become a top manager or being a top manager, and nobody introduced himself like this on LinkedIn. You can check. I never saw no one really doing a statement, but I believe, since I was very, very young, that a strong statement about what you stand for is very important for your life, because this is what other people that are less fortunate, less privileged, people that are abused constantly, we need to stand for them. Otherwise, what's humanity? I mean, I can't really see. And I appreciate that there are many ways of living your life. And I am not saying that everybody should be, but at least I think that if you have to declare what you stand for.
Yeah.
There's
sorry.
No, and definitely I think that even especially now, when people are becoming more silenced, especially through the noise of the social media, or silenced through the fake news on internet, silenced by incredible power game of super power that are really making us, shrinking us. I think it's ever more and more important to do this.
Yeah, I really appreciate and admire what you say about like using the platform that you have, making that statement, standing for something. And there's a idea, some originally Japanese researchers whose name escapes me now, so I'll link to it later, but they did an assessment called the Ikigai 9, and one of it's like sort of 9 different ways that how to measure your Ikigai. And one of those is about, I mean something, like I have an impact to other people, and, that connection with it. And I think activism, having a voice, having a stand on behalf of others is one way that people can really like also live out that feeling of Ikigai. As you said before, it's not just about experiencing for yourself, it's how you connect into the community as well. It's otherwise, what's the point? Why did I get to here if I'm not like bringing other people with me and using that to support them too?
And don't get me wrong, you don't need to do big things, but a big person does many small things. This is very, very important to know, and because so everyone can think that they can matter. So it's not about how many things you do and how this, that's another way of sometimes wasting energy sometimes, because the more you do, but the focus of people that really can make an impact, and I'm learning from them, because I'm very dispersive as well. I'm dispersing lots of energy, I imagine. But I admire people that really can make things happening with their continuous braveness, and step by step, little by little. And I think that every one of us has got this strength, this resilience to be able to, as you say, impact the lives of others.
Yeah, definitely. And recently I was lucky enough to join face to face for the first time in a long time to go to the TEL summit that you were organizing as a board member of TEL, and we're also on the mic as one of the MCs. And I think, that's for me one of the really important parts about actually my Ikigai is every day making the decision to be here. And that it's worth being alive. And it's maybe sometimes the part when we think about, Ikigai, the reason to live, to be here. And there's also Shinigai, right? There's a reason to die. And I'd be interested to hear what you've noticed, through the work of TEL, through the pandemic. And we didn't really talk about this beforehand, so if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But I think that having Ikigai, having a sense of Ikigai, and many researchers have done this, really does change how you're able to handle different mental health challenges and difficult times in the life. So is there anything around that topic you could share?
Yes, I mean, volunteering for TEL has been really an awakening for me. And especially because understanding more how people go through these very important battles that are so tiring and so exhausting, and we from outside don't even see that, because when you have broken arms or some physical problems, it's much easier to just to say, okay, please relax, rest, wait until you are perfect again, and we will support you. But when you see someone that is apparently healthy, has everything, maybe doesn't have any material problems or physical problem, and it cannot move from the bed, and that's difficult to to understand, and to say to this person, please take your time, we are there for you, we are listening to you, you need to recover, you need to feel better. It's very difficult to enter in this mindset. And I think that the fantastic work that TEL is doing with the Lifeline, and similarly to TEL, many other, even in Japanese, there are many other center dedicated, but for TEL, for us it's more immediate to relate, because serving the international community since 50 years, it's a fantastic way to really reanalyze also yourself and how you behave towards people that are neurodiverse or are struggling with the mental health problem. So this helped also to understand better my daughter. She went through a very, very big moment of crisis, and I couldn't really understand, because I said, come on, you're young, you have everything. Also my upbringing was very this type of thing, in a small village of South Italy. When you feel like this, you're down, you have to eat, just eat and you will be fine.
It's the medicine for everything. Yeah,
it's the remedy of la mamma, good food, and it works, because good food is prepared by love, and we can talk about that later, but sometimes that's not exactly enough. So I was embedded in this culture a bit, so learning through TEL has been also helping me to to be closer, supporting my daughter without being the typical maybe I've been the typical southern Italian mother, but at least learning, and this is what I really suggest to everyone to understand, because at any time you can go through this struggling moment in your life, and to be prepared to know what the other are going through can definitely help yourself as well. So it's a very important cause, and that I really I feel very close to.
Thank you. I think it's that, how do you have the tools to help yourself? How do you have the tools to help other people, and to be sort of educated in advance, so that, and of course we can't always be, but, being able to, say the right thing. I was having a discussion with one of the staff members of Tokyo English Lifeline at the lunch, and he was starting to tell us, what do you do if someone says, I want to die. And how do you have that conversation, and just being able to support person in like that serious moment of crisis. But of course, maybe moments of crisis are often they're building up, right? It's not often such a sudden break. There's been things going on, so how can you see the signs, and how can you support them, and how can you know them in yourself as well? And I just think it's really important. And what I really appreciated about that conference was reducing the stigma, getting people to talk about it, and opening up. So it was amazing. And people can maybe check the links for the videos when they're still available. So, or in your country, I'm sure there's something similar going on, but it's,
please support TEL, because I think that you're supporting yourself doing this, and it's very, very important.
Definitely. But yes, we keep dancing around the subject of love. So let's talk about love and love and ikigai and how it connects for you, Tiziana. So
no, but first of all, I want to define better which type of love. Of course,
yes.
we said love as being thankful, love as being as sharing, love as being also passionate about what you stand for, love about, you know. And but what is different, it's difficult, as we mentioned before, is to bring this in your daily 10 hours, 8 hours. If you're lucky, 8 hours.
It depends on your organizational culture.
Average 10 or 12 hours. And in a work day, that's really something that is very challenging. So I was lucky because I came here as the marketing director, so in a big position. So I could direct, I could create the guidelines, the strategy, but anyway, it was a bit of a battle to start talking about branding in terms of not just marketing, but what I call love-ting. So
Love-ting.
Love-ting. So yeah. I love this. I love this love-ting because it's really a different way of bringing together not only the customer, the final customer to which you are talking to make more sales, basically, but also the community behind. So the dealers that is selling this car, the staff that is doing the job inside the company. I mean, it's a way to make everyone more empathetically linked in a term of humanity, you know, because what we want, everyone wants to be loved. I mean, even the meanest person in the world, he's behaving like this probably because he has a lack of love and he wants to be loved, you know. And that's a really basic thing that we express since we are born as a little baby. So this love is really what makes us, you know, participating and to our own life, to make our own life richer, more beautiful. If you don't feel that, you can feel abandoned, you can feel desperate, you can feel and here there are all the range of everything that can be, you know, a very miserable way of living, you know, without love. So how to also bring love inside the company, you know, without, you know, doing I was not born during the hippie period.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how did you, I can imagine, you know, maybe
I grew up in the 80s, which is the most materialistic and consumerist period ever, you know. So for me, it was quite a challenge to be, you know, even fashionable and to love material things, because hey, we are material girls at the end of the day. I also love material things, but at the same time, as we say, to keep something that is your creativity alive, you know. So I introduced this way of branding, doing branding through the Love-ting. So I start putting brands supporting NPOs, supporting causes, supporting crowdfunding, creating love for the tradition of Japan. We have I created a very beautiful project that is linking the craftsmanship, each humble craftsman with Fiat, creating a craft, you know, with a briefing. So it's a love that is made by really the passion, by the you know, the passion for the tradition and for the modernity, because, you know, we go through in an innovation. Innovation is exactly what we were talking about before, to bring the humanity to a next level. It's not just technology, AI, is to bring the humanity to a next level. So to start sharing this feeling within my company, it took so much long time to convince, especially all these men, these very old Oji-san as well. You know, some of them are, you know, my same age. I'm old, but I saw them very, you know,
But it wasn't, it's like, it's not okay to talk about love at work, is it? Like it's really
Exactly.
inappropriate. And that's not how we do business. We don't talk about love in the office. We're going to get HR talking to us about sexual harassment if we start talking about love too much, and business is logical and it shouldn't be emotional. Like
KPI, number, metric. And of course I did all that, of course, because I was a very successful with managing my brands. But the point is that after a while, I was really happy when the sales director started using the word love in his own presentation to the dealers.
Infected.
So it took 10 years though.
This is a good lesson for everyone to learn that.
But
it takes some time.
The message here is don't rush, but be constant, be consistent, because consistency really is appreciated everywhere on the job, everywhere in the business world, and to be consistent is very important to keep and grow things, even your own business.
Yeah, I really like that idea too of, I'm sure the first couple of times there was maybe just sheen, like silence, and then silence, and then there was maybe some pushback. But having that, as you described earlier, like how do I keep myself free? How do I keep this this thing which I stand for? And just being like really sure. And
but also sharing it,
and like keep growing and give it space to breathe, and but also like allowing other people to meet you where they are. Okay, it took 10 years for the sales director to start to use this language, and that's his journey, right? That's where they are. So also not having that attachment that everybody has to understand what I mean immediately. But what is important is that, as you said, like I have this love, I have this passion for what it is that I believe in, what I'm bringing, and I'm going to spread that to the world, and people can take it if they want it. And maybe they won't.
We are all free.
Everyone has the freedom to do it, but not sort of becoming despondent because it doesn't happen overnight. And I think
also I learn also how to appreciate the failures. When you start doing something and it doesn't go the way you do, and also recognize your own, okay, I did a mistake, sorry, apologize, all these good things. It's a very good practice to really to become a bit more relaxed and to be less toxic, because let's say the truth, sometimes the corporate world is very toxic, not because of someone wants this to be, because the dynamics of the power, are so unique and also so strong, in the corporate world, that people, even if they don't want, they get caught in them. So my big effort has been also not to go into this dimension, becoming to be power, and so, because you can do this. It's possible to be taken into these games without even knowing. So one thing I've always thought to my staff, please, if I start acting strangely, saying, you just tell me, hey, no good, stop, and I really meant it, because my best friends are those that tells me, you were disgusting, you did this very badly, you were, those are my best friends.
So having those people around you who are like, no, so, who did you just become in that meeting? That wasn't you, Tiziana, kind of thing. Calling you in.
And it's very, very important that you can create a type of environment for you and around you, for people to tell you that you were wrong, because it's easy to have everybody say, fantastic, and pretending, and it's just a superficial way of living. But to have someone that can tell you, no, this is not right, and for you to say, oh, okay, and understand, is fantastic. I think that this is another big way of Ikigai exchange, because the person feels that she can trust you, telling the truth, and whatever is the social position or the telecom, no, it's human to human, and that's how I try to create a relationship with my daughter, to make her able to tell me you are wrong, mom.
Oh, my daughter is very good at telling me I'm wrong all the
very
time
good,
right now.
by the way, even if you don't educate them to that.
Yeah, I think it's a natural skill of a teenager
natural.
anyway. So. The eye roll.
But also to argument that, to tell you why, and going to deeper level. I think it's a great thing.
Exactly. And so what's next for you? You mentioned you're setting up your own shop. More people can experience Love-ting.
I don't know. Really the beauty of changing something is that, I'm like this. I want to be free, not to have a plan, because I made plans for all my life for work, plans. So for example, I don't make plans for holidays. I'm the type of person that decide 3 days. Well, it depends on if it's an overseas trip, maybe 2 weeks, but no longer than that, and I know that there are people that plan in advance also their own life. I never did. So this is not very good sometimes, because when you want to go somewhere, then everything is fully booked. This happens a lot on me, but there are always alternatives. So I have no plans. I really want to feel this freedom. By the way, I'm still a consultant for my previous company, so I'm quite busy still. It's not that I'm super free all of a sudden, but I can start to think other things. I'm interested in exploring more the concept of how the Italianity is perceived by the Japanese, to go a bit beyond the stereotypes. So I'm thinking to support a young media that is been created about that, and that's something that is just now I'm coaching with, of course, for free of charge, younger women that wants to start their business or have something to related to my expertise, and I can share with them. I'm having many interesting conversations with many people that are contacting me about doing something together, which I think is fantastic. I mean, that was very rewarding, because one of the the unconscious worries is that you leave a position that is so high. You could have stayed until your retirement. You could have still be the powerful with a budget and everything. And but I made a promise to myself to change my life seriously. Life shift when I was 60, and then usually I keep my promise. So I did it, and of course it took some time with my company to find who will be the successor, and then we came to a nice agreement, and they asked me to stay as a consultant this year. So it's fantastic, because I found lots of really understanding from the top management of Japan. So that was fantastic, and this is enabled me to really go a bit open mind for the moment. So really, I don't have, and I think is the best that one can wish, to have no barrier, because if you have a plan, you have already your limits. If you don't have a plan, you have everything is white. It can be scary, because this is what I was thinking. Maybe nobody will contact me anymore. I'm no longer the so. But instead, many things are coming. This.
I think that's really, really useful. I love that you had not a plan, but a promise to yourself. It's a very different, promise to change your life. And also, I think, it's very easy to get, I see people, get tied up in kind of the glamour or the prestige of their title and the company. And then you're like, who am I without that? This is the idea of some people, like with the Venn diagram, right? I only have one Ikigai. And it's like, well, if I can't do that thing anymore, for whatever reason, because it's this tiny point in the middle, then who am I? And that's why I think having multiple sources of things which make you feel ikigai is the way forward. To not be so embedded in only like your corporate self or your creative self or your role as a parent or your role as a partner, to have many different places that you're getting those feelings of ikigai. Some are going to be more intense, some are going to be more immediate, some will be slow burners, long-term things that are with you, and other times will be like just a fad in your life. There was a period you shared a picture of you as a belly dancer, right? The Bollywood dancer.
Yeah. She's called Lula.
So I used to go belly dancing, and it brought me so much joy, and it was a great it was a period of my life. Yeah. I don't do it anymore, but you can bring me out. But it's also okay to outgrow those things as well. They serve a purpose at some point. So I think it's really really lovely though to have this a promise, not a plan, and the white page. And also what I think is great, you as an example for other people. And I'm sure you don't want to be an example for other people. I don't think you position yourself in that way, but people will look to your story and go, I think people will ring, people will contact, because it's not the connection to the company and to the role, it's the connection to you as a human, who you are, Tiziana, as yourself, that is attracting people and makes them want to work with you. But you don't know that until you take the step out of the comfort zone. But here's maybe the example for other people. Here's one person who is doing this. Maybe you can try to, for the listeners.
And doing a 60, which is the typical dangerous age, because you think, oh my God, I'm already, so why I should go into the unknown, before the retirement. And that's also another source of energy. So I really suggest that we start seeing ourselves not for the like the eyes of the outside world. You are 60, so you're old, you have white hair, so you're old, you're not more attractive, because these are all the paradigm that we've been grown up in the society. Patriarchy, this is called the stereotype of the patriarchy, because
Absolutely.
Men with white hair are considered interesting,
elder, wise, gravitas.
So that is one of the many constraints that we have, especially as a women in our society. So I think free yourself and share more, and this is why I also embrace more my volunteer time with after I could be a bit more free in my working life. And I think that making this choice make you feel stronger anyway.
Wonderful.
Happier.
Yeah. And that's what Ikigai is about for me, is that little daily moments of happiness as well, and in each thing. So we're coming to the close of our time here today. Do you have any final message, things you want people to take away for the listeners of Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai? The floor is yours.
Yes, I think that we need to all find our own beauty inside ourselves. This is also very important, and to define your beauty. And for me, my own beauty, so the things that really can enlighten my daily life is sharing. So I will emphasize this word again. Sharing is like the new really fashion of your heart.
Beautiful. Well, I look forward to everyone sharing their comments and how much they have enjoyed this episode. Listen to the end and add your comments on whatever media you are here. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you today. I'm so energized. I'm so excited. I know that we have another topic I want to talk to you about someday, maybe not on the record. We do off the record, but we'll save that as a teaser for another time. But thank you so much for sharing your time today.
Lula is waiting for you for a belly dance together.
Okay, I'll try. I used to have a.
I will.
You have everything. You have my wigs and all. Okay, I'm ready to come and play. All right. Thank you so much.
Ciao. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.